The wind howled across the alien desert as Dr. Blue brushed away centuries of dust from the strange markings on the wall. Her four-fingered hands moved carefully over the surface, while her assistant recorded every detail with their scanning equipment. This dig site on planet GX-2249 had already proved to be the most interesting discovery in her 30 years of archaeological work. "Look at this pattern," she called out, her translator converting her clicks and whistles into standard galactic common. "It's exactly like the ones we found in the Spiral Arm ruins last year." She traced the double helix pattern that stretched across the ancient stone, its perfect symmetry far too precise to be natural. The ruins stood silent around them, their weathered walls reaching toward the purple sky. According to their initial scans, these structures were over 3 billion years old, far older than any known civilization in the galaxy. The mystery had drawn archaeological teams from across known space, but Dr. Blue's team had gotten lucky with their dig site. Her scanner beeped, finishing its analysis of the wall markings. She looked at the results and froze. "This can't be right," she muttered, tapping the device with a finger. "Run it again." Her assistant, a tall insectoid named Green, clicked his mandibles curiously. "What's wrong?" "The pattern. It's not just similar to genetic code. It's an exact match for..." She paused, double-checking the results. "It's human DNA." Green's antennae twitched in confusion. "That's impossible. Humans only achieved spaceflight a few centuries ago. These ruins are billions of years old." Dr. Blue stared at the wall, her mind racing. The humans were newcomers to the galactic community, barely out of their solar system when the older races found them. They were interesting enough, adaptable, clever, surprisingly tough, but definitely not an ancient species. Everyone knew that. She packed up her equipment with shaking hands. "We need to run more tests, and we need to keep this quiet until we're sure." But keeping it quiet proved impossible. Within days, word leaked out about the strange discovery. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting, and Dr. Blue found herself standing before the most powerful beings in known space, trying to explain something that shouldn't be possible. "With all due respect, Doctor," rumbled Council Leader White, his crystalline form shimming under the chamber lights, "your findings must be flawed. We have extensive records of human history. They were a primitive species until quite recently." Dr. Blue projected her findings onto the chamber's main screen. "The DNA pattern is unmistakable. And it's not just on GX-2249. We found the same markings on 17 other ancient sites across the galaxy. Always the same pattern, always the same age." The chamber erupted in murmurs and debates. A human representative, Dr. Stone, sat quietly in the corner, watching with unusual intensity. When he finally spoke, his voice carried across the chamber with surprising authority. "Perhaps," he said, standing up, "we should consider the possibility that our understanding of history is incomplete." He walked to the main display, pointing at the pattern. "This specific DNA sequence appears in every human. It's one of the parts of our genetic code we've never fully understood. We always assumed it was junk DNA, left over from evolution." Dr. Blue felt her heart racing. What if it's not junk at all? What if it's a signature? The council leader's crystalline surface clouded with doubt. A signature of what? "Of the original builders," Dr. Stone said quietly. "Of the ones who came before. The ones we've all been looking for." The chamber fell silent. Everyone knew the legends of the Elder Race, the mysterious beings who supposedly seeded the galaxy with life and then vanished. Every spacefaring species had stories about them, but no one had ever found proof they existed. Dr. Blue stepped forward, her voice steady despite her nervousness. "I request permission to lead a full investigation. If there's even a chance that humans are connected to the Elders." "Denied." The council leader cut her off. "This information could destabilize the entire galactic community. We will form a committee to study." "With respect," Dr. Stone interrupted, "you can form all the committees you want, But we've already sent these findings to every major research institute in known space. The truth will come out. The only question is whether you want to help us find it, or try to stop us." Dr. Blue looked at the human with new appreciation. Perhaps there was more to this species than anyone had guessed, and perhaps this was just the beginning of a much bigger discovery. 3 weeks after the council meeting, Dr. Stone sat in his cramped office on Mars base, surrounded by holographic displays of archaeological sites. Dr. Blue stood next to him, her scaled skin reflecting the blue light of the projections. They had been working nonstop, comparing data from hundreds of ancient ruins. "Look at this," Dr. Stone said, pulling up an image of a primitive stone tool found on a distant world. "We found dozens of these in ruins across the galaxy. Everyone assumed they were alien technology." He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out something that made Dr. Blue's eyes widen. It was a stone tool from Earth, dated to be over 100,000 years old. The similarity was impossible to ignore. "They're exactly the same," she whispered. Her translator struggled to convey her mix of excitement and disbelief. "But how?" "These tools were found light years apart." Dr. Stone typed rapidly on his console, and the room filled with more images. Ancient cave paintings from Earth appeared next to mysterious alien murals. Simple machines found in human archaeological sites matched perfectly with unexplained alien artifacts found across the stars. The pattern was becoming clear, but it seemed too incredible to be true. "We've been looking at it backward," Dr. Stone said, standing up to walk through the hovering images. "Everyone assumed humans copied alien technology as we advanced. But what if?" He paused, taking a deep breath. "What if we were the original source?" A soft beep interrupted them. Green, Dr. Blue's assistant, rushed into the office, his antennae twitching with excitement. "You need to see this," he clicked, mandibles moving rapidly. "We mapped out all the sites where we found human DNA patterns." He projected a new map of the galaxy, with hundreds of points of light marking archaeological sites. Dr. Stone and Dr. Blue watched as the computer connected the dots. The pattern that emerged made them both gasp. Every single site formed part of a vast spiral, and at the center of it all was Earth. "It's like ripples in a pond," Dr. Stone muttered, "spreading outward from the source," Dr. Blue finished. "From Earth." The office door slid open again. A tall figure in a military uniform stepped in. Admiral Reed of the Earth Defense Force. "I hope I'm not interrupting," he said quietly, "but there's something you both need to know." He looked at the displays, nodding as if they confirmed something. "We found something under the Mars ice caps. Something big." The trip to the Martian polar region took less than an hour in the military shuttle. As they flew over the endless ice, Admiral Reed explained that a routine mining operation had uncovered unusual energy readings. "At first we thought it was natural radiation," he said. "Then we found the door." The door, as it turned out, was massive. A perfectly circular entrance carved into the ice and rock, covered in the same patterns they'd found across the galaxy. But there was something different about this one. Something that made Dr. Blue's scientific instruments go crazy. "The energy signature is off the charts," she said, checking her readings for the third time. "This facility, whatever it is still active. After billions of years, it's still running." Dr. Stone approached the door, studying the strange markings. Among the familiar DNA patterns, he noticed something new, a small panel that looked almost like a handprint. Without thinking, he reached out to touch it. The door responded instantly. Lights flickered to life along its surface, and a soft hum filled the air. Ancient machinery, hidden for eons, began to move. "What did you do?" Admiral Reed asked, his hand instinctively moving to his weapon. "Nothing," Dr. Stone said, staring at his hand in wonder. "It recognized me. It recognized human DNA, unmodified human DNA." As the massive door began to slide open for the first time in billions of years, Dr. Blue's scanner picked up something else. A signal, broadcasting on all frequencies, in a language older than any known civilization. But somehow, Dr. Stone could understand it. "Welcome home, children of Earth," the message said. "We have waited a long time for your return." They stood in silence, watching as the door revealed a long corridor leading deep into the Martian rock, lit by lights that had waited an eternity to shine again. Whatever lay at the end of that corridor would change everything they thought they knew about humanity's place in the galaxy. The ancient corridor stretched ahead of them, its walls covered in softly glowing panels that lit up as they walked past. Dr. Stone led the way, with Dr. Blue close behind, her scanners working overtime to record everything. Admiral Reed and 2 soldiers brought up the rear, weapons ready despite the facility's seemingly peaceful welcome. "These walls," Dr. Blue said, running her scaled hand along the smooth surface. "They're made of something I've never seen before. The molecular structure is impossible." She turned to Dr. Stone. "Why does it all feel so familiar to you? How can you understand its language?" Before he could answer, they entered a vast circular chamber. The lights came on gradually, revealing rows upon rows of strange machines. In the center stood a pillar of light that reached from floor to ceiling, pulsing with a gentle blue glow. A voice spoke, not through speakers, but directly into their minds. "Genetic verification complete. Access granted to Legacy Archive." The pillar of light expanded, forming into a hologram of a human figure wearing strange, flowing robes. "I am the Keeper," it said, "caretaker of humanity's legacy. You have questions." Admiral Reed stepped forward. "Who built this place? What is humanity's legacy?" The hologram smiled. "You did, or rather, your ancestors did, billions of years ago. Before the Great Sleep, before the reset." It waved a hand, and the chamber filled with new holograms, images of an Earth that none of them recognized. Great cities that stretched into space, ships that could cross galaxies in moments, humans wearing those same flowing robes, working alongside machines to reshape worlds. "This doesn't make sense," Dr. Blue whispered. "All our studies show humans evolved on Earth, just like any other species." "Yes," the Keeper said. "That was the plan. The Great Reset worked exactly as intended. More images appeared, other alien species, but shown as they were being created, their genetic codes carefully crafted by human scientists of the ancient past." "You mean?" Dr. Stone's voice trailed off as the truth hit him. "We created them. All of them." The Keeper nodded. "All spacefaring species in this galaxy were engineered by humanity. You were the first. The original children of Earth, but you saw a darkness coming. A great void between galaxies that would make all life impossible for millions of years." The chamber darkened as it showed a visualization of this ancient catastrophe, a vast nothingness that swept through space, destroying everything in its path. "So humanity made a choice," the Keeper continued. "They seeded the galaxy with new life forms, each adapted to survive in different conditions. And then they did something unprecedented." The hologram showed scenes of the ancient humans working on their own genetic code. They modified themselves, locked away their most advanced knowledge and capabilities within their own DNA, to be reawakened only when the time was right. Dr. Blue's scanner suddenly started beeping rapidly. She looked at it, then at Dr. Stone, her eyes wide. "The genetic markers," she said, "the ones that all spacefaring species share. They're not just similar to human DNA. They're simplified versions of it. We're all variations of human genetic code." "Yes," the Keeper said. "Each species was created with specific traits emphasized or suppressed. But humanity kept the original template, the complete code, dormant within themselves. The bodies you wear now are just the chrysalis. Inside each human lies the potential to become what your ancestors once were." Admiral Reed looked troubled. "Why are you telling us this now? Why did they hide this from us in the first place?" The hologram's expression grew serious. "Because the void is returning. In less than a century, it will reach this galaxy. Humanity must remember what it once was, must awaken, must lead again. It turned to Dr. Stone. The genetic key you carry, it's already beginning to activate. Haven't you noticed changes? Understanding things you shouldn't know. Feeling connections to ancient technology. Dr. Stone touched the wall again, and this time he felt it respond to him, felt the ancient machinery hum in recognition. He understood now why he could read the old language, why this place felt so familiar. They weren't discovering humanity's past, they were remembering it. The Keeper's light pulsed brighter. It's time to wake up, children of Earth. The galaxy needs its guardians again. Word spread quickly across the galaxy. Despite the Council's attempts to keep it quiet, news of the Mars facility and humanity's true nature leaked to every corner of known space. Ships from 100 worlds arrived in the solar system, their crews desperate to see the truth for themselves. Inside the facility, Dr. Stone worked tirelessly. The genetic changes the Keeper mentioned were happening faster now. He found himself understanding the ancient technology instinctively, as if remembering skills he had known all along. Dr. Blue watched him with a mixture of awe and scientific curiosity as he activated more systems within the vast complex. The library contains everything, he explained, his hands moving across control panels that responded to his touch. The complete history of the galaxy. The true history. He brought up more holograms, showing the ancient humans' work in stunning detail. We didn't just create new species, we created whole ecosystems, planted the seeds of life on countless worlds. Admiral Reed entered the chamber, looking tired. We got a situation up top. The Galactic Council sent representatives. They're demanding we shut this place down. A new figure followed him in. Elder Gray, one of the most respected scholars in the galaxy. His crystalline form, similar to the council leaders but darker and more angular, caught the light as he moved. "Can you blame them?" he asked. "Everything we thought we knew about our origins, our place in the universe, has been proven wrong." Dr. Blue stepped forward. "But isn't truth better than comfortable lies?" "Truth." Elder Gray laughed, a sound like chiming bells. "You call this truth. These convenient revelations that paint humans as the creators of all. How do we know this isn't some elaborate deception?" The Keeper's hologram appeared, its calm presence filling the room. "You carry the proof in your very genes, Elder Gray. Your species, like all others, bears the mark of human engineering. The crystalline structure of your body. It was designed to survive the intense radiation of your homeworld's binary suns." The hologram waved its hand, and a detailed genetic diagram appeared. It showed the careful modifications made to create Elder Gray's species, each change marked and annotated in the ancient script that Dr. Stone could now read easily. "Your ancestors designed us to survive radiation?" Elder Gray asked, his crystalline surface clouding with emotion. "They designed you to thrive in it," Dr. Stone corrected, reading the ancient notes. "Your ability to absorb and process radiation wasn't just for survival. It was meant to help you tap into energy sources that other species couldn't reach." He looked up at Elder Gray. "You weren't just engineered to survive. You were engineered to achieve amazing things." The chamber grew quiet as Elder Gray studied the diagrams. Finally, he spoke. "All my life, I've studied the mysteries of the galaxy, the unexplained ruins, the strange similarities between species, the gaps in our evolutionary records that never quite made sense." He turned to face them all. "This answers everything. But it also raises a far more urgent question. The void," Admiral Reed said. "The thing our ancestors reset everything to prepare for." The Keeper nodded. "It approaches. A space between spaces, a nothingness that devours light, matter, even time itself. Our long-range sensors have detected its first tendrils reaching toward this galaxy." Dr. Blue's scanner picked up something new, energy signatures activating throughout the facility. "What's happening?" "The awakening begins," the Keeper said. "This facility is more than a library. It's a key. As more humans connect with it, more of their dormant genetic potential will activate. They will remember who they were, what they can do. Dr. Stone felt it happening within himself. Knowledge, abilities, and memories that had been locked away in his genes for billions of years were slowly unfurling. He looked at his hands, and for a moment saw them glowing with the same energy that powered the ancient machines. "But we can't face this alone," he said, turning to Elder Gray. "Our ancestors created all of you for a reason. Each species has unique strengths, unique capabilities. We need to stand together." Elder Gray's crystalline form seemed to straighten. Perhaps that is the greatest truth revealed here. Not just humanity's past, but all of our futures. Together. Above them, more ships arrived in Earth's orbit. The children of humanity were coming home, ready or not, to face the greatest challenge in the galaxy's long history. Dr. Stone stood at the main window of the Mars facility, watching the sky fill with more ships every hour. His reflection showed subtle changes, a faint glow beneath his skin, eyes that seemed to shine with ancient knowledge. The genetic awakening was spreading through the human population, faster than anyone had expected. The Keeper's hologram appeared beside him. "The library is reaching capacity," it reported. "Representatives from over 300 species have arrived. They all want to know their true origins." Down in the main chamber, Dr. Blue and Elder Gray worked together, helping various alien species access their genetic records. Each revelation brought new understanding and new questions. The insectoid green discovered his species had been engineered to be perfect space navigators, their compound eyes designed to see patterns in spacetime itself. A group of aquatic beings learned they were created to terraform ocean worlds, their bodies capable of processing any type of water into breathable atmospheres. "Each piece fits together," Dr. Blue said, watching the aliens discover their true purposes. "Like a vast puzzle, planned out billions of years ago." Admiral Reed entered, accompanied by a group of human scientists whose eyes now glowed like Dr. Stone's. "The Void's approach is accelerating," he announced. "Our enhanced sensors can track it now. We have less time than we thought." The Keeper expanded its hologram, showing the galaxy in miniature. A great darkness crept along one edge, consuming everything in its path. "This is what our ancestors saw coming," it explained. "A cosmic death that could not be stopped, only survived." Dr. Stone walked through the hologram, studying the Void's movement. "They didn't just engineer new species randomly," he said, understanding flowing through his awakening mind. "Each one was created to play a specific role in what's coming." He turned to the gathered aliens. "The crystalline peoples like Elder Gray. You were made to harness and store vast amounts of energy. The insectoids like Green. You can navigate through the distorted space around the Void. The aquatic species can create safe havens for others to shelter in." He looked at Dr. Blue's scaled form. "And your people, with their adaptive biology, were designed to help other species survive in changed environments." "But what about humans?" someone asked. "What were we designed for?" "We weren't," Dr. Stone said softly. "We're the original template, the source code. That's why we carry all the potential within us. We had to be reset, had to forget, so we could survive the ages until we were needed again. To remember, to lead, to bring everyone together." The Keeper nodded. "The Void cannot be destroyed, but it can be survived. That was the plan, to create species that could work together to preserve life itself through the great darkness." More genetic memories surfaced in Dr. Stone's mind. He saw the ancient humans working countless centuries to create their children, pouring all their knowledge and love into each new species, not out of pride or a desire to play gods, but out of desperate hope that life would find a way to continue. "They could have tried to save just themselves," Dr. Blue said, understanding dawning in her eyes. "Instead, they created all of us, gave us worlds to live on. Let us develop on our own paths, because diversity was the key to survival." Elder Gray added, his crystalline form pulsing with new energy. "No single species could survive the Void alone, but together. The chamber hummed with power as more humans connected with the ancient systems, their awakening abilities activating more of the facility's functions. Star maps appeared, showing safe routes through the coming darkness. Engineering schematics materialized, displaying vast structures designed to shelter entire worlds. Our ancestors left us everything we need, Dr. Stone said, watching the plans unfold around them. But they also left us our greatest strength, each other. He looked at the gathered species, seeing not aliens but family. They created you, gave you worlds and freedom to grow, knowing that one day we would all need to stand together. Dr. Blue's scanner picked up new energy signatures, more facilities like this one, awakening on worlds across the galaxy. The Great Plan, set in motion billions of years ago, was finally beginning its final phase. The children of humanity were about to face their greatest test, together. Alarms blared through the Mars facility. The void had just swallowed its first star system at the edge of the galaxy. Dr. Stone watched the long-range sensors with growing concern as the darkness spread faster than their models had predicted. "We're not ready," Admiral Reed said, studying the tactical displays. Thousands of ships gathered around key points in space, following the ancient plans they'd discovered. But even with the awakening humans' enhanced abilities, coordinating such a massive operation seemed almost impossible. The calm was shattered by weapons fire from above. A group of ships had broken formation and was attacking the Mars facility. The Keeper's hologram flickered to life, its expression grave. "We have detected multiple hostile vessels. They are led by Council Leader White." Dr. Blue rushed in with Elder Gray. "The Council Leader claims this facility is a threat to galactic stability," she reported. "He's convinced some species that humans are trying to seize control, that the void is a lie created to trick everyone into accepting human authority." "We don't have time for this," Dr. Stone said. His awakened abilities let him feel the void's approach like a cold wind on his soul. He reached out with his enhanced consciousness, connecting to the facility's defense systems. Energy shields sprang to life, deflecting the attackers' weapons. "Let me talk to them," Elder Gray said. His crystalline form pulsed with stored energy as he stepped onto a communication platform. His voice boomed across all channels. "Brothers, sisters, look at the sensors. The void is real. It comes for us all. Would you waste our last hours fighting those who try to save us?" On the main screen, Council Leader White's ship continued its approach. "These humans claim to be our creators, our saviors. But look at them now, wielding powers they hid from us. How can we trust them?" "Because they trusted us first," Dr. Blue stepped forward, her voice joining Elder Gray's broadcast. "They gave us worlds, gave us freedom to grow into our own species. They could have kept us as servants, but they chose to let us find our own paths." The attack slowed as her words reached the hostile ships. Dr. Stone added his own voice to the transmission. "We didn't hide these powers to deceive you. Our ancestors locked them away so we could truly understand what it means to be young, to grow, to learn, so that when the time came, we would lead not from above, but from alongside." The facility's sensors picked up more ships arriving. The aquatic species, their vessels already transformed into massive survival arcs. The insectoid navigators, their ships equipped with void-sensing technology. The crystalline peoples, their bodies storing enough energy to power emergency shelters for thousands. "Look around you," Elder Gray's voice rang out. "Every species here has a purpose, a role to play in survival. Not because humans designed us to be slaves, but because they designed us to be strong, to be ready for this moment." Council Leader White's ship halted its approach. Through the viewport, they could see his crystalline form shifting with uncertainty. "The void, how can we possibly survive it?" "Together," Dr. Stone said simply. "The way we were always meant to. Not as masters and servants, but as family." He opened his mind further, letting everyone see the genetic memories flowing through him. The love and hope the ancient humans had poured into each species' creation. The countless years spent crafting not an empire, but a family of worlds. The attacking ships powered down their weapons. On the tactical display, the Void swallowed another star system. But now, finally, the gathered species began to move as one. The crystalline ships linked together, forming vast energy networks. The aquatic arcs opened their doors to refugees. The insectoid navigators plotted safe courses through the approaching darkness. Admiral Reed watched the coordination with growing hope. They're working together, just like the ancestors planned. Dr. Stone nodded, feeling the connection between all of them growing stronger. The Void is not the end, he said. It's the beginning. The moment when all the children of humanity finally come together as one family. The facility hummed with power as more systems activated, responding to the united will of thousands of species working as one. The Great Migration was about to begin. The Great Migration began as billions of ships moved through space in perfect formation. Dr. Stone stood at the heart of the Mars facility, his mind connected to thousands of others, coordinating the massive exodus. The Void consumed space behind them, but ahead lay hope, safe passages mapped by the insectoid navigators, leading to protected regions where they could weather the darkness. Council Leader White had joined them on the command deck, his crystalline form now working in harmony with Elder Gray to store and distribute power across the fleet. Dr. Blue moved between different species, her adaptive biology helping others adjust to the cramped conditions of the evacuation ships. The first waves have reached the safe zone, Admiral Reed reported, watching the tactical displays. The aquatic arcs are already beginning transformation of the emergency habitats. We might actually pull this off. The Keeper's hologram appeared, its form now somehow more solid than before. The genetic awakening is complete, it announced. Humanity has remembered its true nature. But there is one final step in the ancestors' plan. Dr. Stone felt it in his mind. A call, a purpose that had waited billions of years. The facility, he said, understanding flowing through him. It's not just a library or a shelter. It's a key. The massive complex began to change. Walls shifted, ancient machinery awakened, and deep below the Martian surface, something vast stirred to life. The planet itself seemed to tremble. The ancestors didn't just hide knowledge in our genes, Dr. Stone explained, watching in awe as the transformation began. They hid whole worlds. Mars isn't just a planet. It's a ship, a seed, a beginning. The ground shook as enormous engines, dormant for billions of years, roared to life. Mars itself was transforming, revealing its true nature as the greatest ark of all. A world ship designed to carry the legacy of countless species through the darkness. Everyone's aboard, Dr. Blue reported, her scanners confirming the last evacuation ships had docked safely within the transformed planet. All species accounted for. We're ready. Dr. Stone looked at the gathered representatives of humanity's children, the crystalline beings glowing with stored power, the insectoids with their space-seeing eyes, the aquatic species preparing to shape new homes, and countless others, each one created with purpose and love, each one essential to survival. Our ancestors faced this choice too, he said softly. They could have tried to survive alone, could have kept their power and knowledge to themselves. Instead, they chose to create family, to give life new forms, new strengths, new hopes. They chose to trust that when the time came, we would all stand together. The void loomed closer, its darkness swallowing stars. But now, they were ready. The world ship that had once been Mars began to move, leading the great fleet of survival arcs. The insectoid navigators guided them through safe corridors of spacetime. The crystalline beings powered their journey with stored stellar energy. The aquatic species maintained habitats where millions of different life forms could survive the long journey. And the humans, fully awakened to their ancient legacy, served not as masters, but as bridges, connecting, coordinating, helping each species work in harmony with the others. The very diversity that Council Leader White had once feared proved to be their salvation. Where will we go? Someone asked as the last light of their home galaxy faded behind them. To new stars, Dr. Stone answered. To new beginnings, and when we reach them, we'll plant the seeds of life again. Not as separate species, but as one family. The way we were always meant to be. The Keeper's hologram smiled, its purpose nearly complete. The cycle continues. Life adapts. Life survives. Life grows in new ways. As the fleet entered the safe passage through the void, Dr. Stone felt the connection between all species grow stronger. The ancient humans hadn't just created various life forms. They had created a tapestry of life itself, each thread essential, each pattern unique, all woven together into something greater than the sum of its parts. Behind them, the void consumed their old homes, but ahead lay new stars, new worlds, new possibilities. And this time, they would face them together. The children of humanity, united at last, carrying the flame of life forward into the endless dark.